Hello, we're here, back again. Let's get right to work. So I did a few things off stream. I just wasn't liking how it felt like I was repeating myself on a lot of the sessions of this essay. So I went over it, got rid of some portions, added a little bit here and there. So I didn't get a chance to read it over, so we'll read it over before we actually get started. Tomorrow we'll be doing mythological parallels. I've done a lot of good, extensive research, just making sure everything's 100% before we actually write it down. And after I'm done reading, we'll get to case study 2, which is Silent Hill 3, which is pretty straightforward. Okay, let's do this. Good Resident Evil music in the background. Alright. So I gotta take my headphones off so I can actually pay attention to all this. There's a kind of fear that doesn't scream. It lingers. It waits. You stand in an empty room. The walls don't move. The stillness feels crowded. You don't hear footsteps, but your heart begins to race. Give me 1 second. Hold on. There we go. Your heart begins to race. Because you know you're not alone. Whenever you feel someone's watching you, it's because someone probably is. Charles Bukowski wasn't warning us about monsters. He was naming a truth older than language. The fear of being watched isn't irrational. It's instinct. That beneath paranoia is a memory, buried deep within the nervous system, that tells us the gaze is never neutral. It judges, it invades. Horror games don't need claws or teeth to terrify us. They need just eyes, unblinking and unrelenting. Because when we are being watched, we are no longer safe. We are no longer ourselves. We become performance. We become prey. In this video, we're tracing that ancient fear through the myths of Medusa, Amaterasu, and Ra. Don't drink unless you're an adult, as usual. Yeah, no, splits liver. I swear, this is gonna blow up in my face one day. Okay. Through neuroscience and surveillance culture, accumulating into 3 case studies in Slender, the 8 pages, Silent Hill 3, and Resident Evil Village, horror doesn't just make us fear what we see, it makes us dread what sees us, and what it might already know. Because sometimes, the most terrifying presence is the one that never moves, never speaks, only watches. Before surveillance cameras, before monitors and blinking red lights, there were eyes in the dark, watching beyond the light, and we feared them. The human relationship with gaze is primal. Long before language, eye contact signaled dominance, submission, and threat. A stare wasn't just observation, it was a challenge, a warning, a countdown. Ancient cultures turned that fear into symbol and story. The eye of providence, a triangle of divinity and judgment, watching from above, sacred in design. The fuck? What? Wait, what happened on that side? Sorry, I saw something out of my peripheral vision. That was weird. The eye of providence, the triangle of divinity and judgment, watching from above, sacred in design, oppressive in implication, the all-seeing eye that sees what you hide, not what you show. The eye of Horus, a mark of protection, but also surveillance, a god's gaze that follows you into the depth of your soul. The evil eye, a curse passed through lands, faced through time in different cultures, feared because it demanded nothing but to destroy you. Just being watched isn't enough. Horror inherits this mythology, but it strips away its divinity. The eye becomes corrupted. The gaze of ancient watchers doesn't offer guidance, it exposes. In horror games, this is where it begins. Not with the scream, but with the feeling that something ancient, unseen, and impossibly patient is watching you, and will never look away. The fear of being watched isn't just a story we tell, it's hardwired. Deep in the skull, the Amygdala fires our primal alarm bell. This is the fear center within your brain. You can react instantly to eyes, not just real eyes, but shapes that look like eyes, faces, portraits, statues, and even mannequins can set off that ancient alarm. This response is automatic, involuntary, and designed to prepare the body for flight or flight even before the conscious thought arises. Long before civilization, before language, before society and laws, our ancestors relied on their senses to survive. In the gaze, eyes meeting eyes was one of the most primal signals of danger. But it doesn't stop there. Our brains can sometimes misinterpret this warning. For example, it can react to eyes that aren't real, such as painted eyes in portraits, the glassy eyes of mannequins, or the frozen gaze of statues. This can cause intense responses in the person, ranging from distress to panic. Studies even show cortisol spikes when we stare at portraits with eyes staring back. Our brain doesn't care that it's paint. It still feels watched. Again, think of Scooby-Doo. The brain interprets these images as silent watchers. In a similar sense, people have reported a sensation of dread and discomfort when looking at mannequins and dolls, for the sole reason that their artificial faces can trigger unease. Horror games expertly expose this neurological wiring with chilling finesse. Consider the portraits whose eyes appear to follow you. Subtle animation or design tricks mimics the gaze's perspective. No matter where you look, those eyes seem to fixate on you, unnerving the player with a sense of inescapable scrutiny. The invisible watcher, the anticipation of observation, is the beginning of true horror. It plays on our nervous system's oldest fears, the dread of being seen before you're ready, and before you can defend yourself. It is in this space between knowing and guessing that horror games create their most profound terror. Hold on. I was gonna keep on checking my phone just in case. The fear of being watched evolved with us, but it found a new, darker expression in the age of surveillance. Long before our world was filled with cameras, computers, and algorithms, George Orwell crystallized this terror in a single phrase: Big Brother is watching you. In 1984, Big Brother was an omnipresent, faceless force of control, an eye that never blinked, a gaze that never tired. Today, Orwell's vision is no longer fiction, it is our reality. Streets, stores, even our homes are blanketed with CCTV cameras. Our faces are cataloged with facial recognition systems. Every click, swipe, even purchase can feed into these networks. Every moment is recorded. I'm starting to sound like Wolverine right now. Every moment is recorded, indexed, and analyzed. This modern surveillance is a paradox. We accept it as necessary for safety, yet it erodes the very privacy that once protected us. In horror games, this becomes a nightmare. What was meant to protect starts to feel predatory. A camera isn't a shield, it is a spotlight. It is a spotlight. Why is there a quotation there? What was meant to protect starts to feel predatory. Camera isn't a shield, it is a spotlight. In horror games, cameras may flicker or distort, revealing figures that shouldn't be there. Watchers who don't abide by the rules of reality. In a sense, a safe zone becomes a trap. Monitors can also betray. Screens meant to secure you, glitch or lag. Showing impossible images or failing at the worst moment. Trust breaks down. The eye that watches can also lie. This betrayal is deeply unsettling because it destroys the illusion of control. Instead of safety, surveillance becomes a slow, creeping violation. You're not just being watched, you're being profiled, tracked, and known. Horror games make you feel this loss of control in ways that resonate with real-world fears. The tools designed to protect become instruments of powerlessness. You can't hide, you can't escape. The watcher is everywhere and nowhere. This reality turns the fear of the gaze into systemic horror. Not a monster hunting in the shadows, but an invisible machine just watching. The dread isn't what the watcher will do next, it is the certainty that it will always be watching. Alright, we will come back to that. Let me relax my voice because it's already starting to go. Okay, so we're just going to go into Silent Hill 3. I'll come back on page 3 and we'll read that over. So yesterday we talked about, let me at least read this. In survival horror, the instinct is to often look away, to hide, to flee in blindness. But Slender, the 8 pages, flips the instinct on its head. Here to look is not safety, but a death sentence. To meet the gaze of Slenderman is to invite your impending doom. At first glance, the game seems simple enough. Collect 8 pages which are scattered within a dark forest, but Slenderman just lingers beyond your vision. It stalks you and watches your every movement. Then when you're least expecting it, he strikes. In Slender, your survival hinges on impossible tension. Look too long, and he draws closer. Look away, and you risk losing track of him. The game traps you in a cycle of hesitation and paranoia. While trying to complete your objective, you never know when he may make an appearance. The game world itself becomes your enemy. Every shadow every shadow might conceal him. Any sound in the background could be him stalking you. Slender transforms the gaze from passive sense into a weapon, turning the player's own eyes against him. I hope I don't have to bring back Bombot, because as you can see, my voice shifts a lot. Well, this is the perfect theme for this. And again, it's literally just because of my chest. But oh well. Okay, Silent Hill 3. It has been a bit. So let's think of this. This is actually the perfect thinking theme. Also, the random size in the background. I guess in the video they just decided to have Jill in the Resident Evil 5 DLC mansion, just looking in the distance, and they forgot to mute Jill in the background, so you hear her just like, okay. Unfortunately, that is going to get distracting, so let me change it. Oh, perfect. Yeah. I think it's literally the sound effects that kind of ruined that. Perfect. There we go. He says, now that sorry, I'm a little distracted by Resident Evil 5 DLC. It was such a good DLC. All right, Silent Hill 3. Let's think. Oh, speed up. Ooh. Sorry. I'll just leave it. Let's leave it alone. Okay. Oh. Moonlight Sonata. Feels somewhere in a different world, a door is opening. You know how I always thought about this. Damn, they are so lucky. Someone conveniently knows how to play a piano. Oh my god. Or you could be put in a situation where, damn, you have Rebecca who is out of tune. Definitely, yeah. This game is literally about just not just about identity, but identity is a main concept in this game. Hmm. Resident Evil 1.5. Unfortunately, I do know Requiem had its gameplay trailer released today. I'm at the point where when the game releases, I'll play it, but I'm not gonna look up anything. I want to experience a game that isn't heavily spoiled because we want spews for views on YouTube nowadays. So, oh my god, I hate the internet. Like, I'd rather just experience this spoiler free, but that's never gonna happen again because the internet is the worst at times. Like the RE when RE5 dropped, when well, I had a feeling it was either gonna be Jill or Rebecca. God, I didn't think people were thinking it might have been Claire, the witch doctor lady. I'm like, it's gonna be. It has something to do with Chris. Like, it's most likely Jill or hell, even Claire. Rebecca is like out of left field, but who knows? Chris and Rebecca are buddy buddy. This game forces you to confront the fractured pieces of identity. Hmm. Silent Hill 3 is a psychological horror that turns the player's fear inward. Unlike typical horror games where danger lurks outside, this game forces you to confront the fractured pieces of identity. The gaze here is not just something watching you from afar, but a mirror reflecting your God, it's already happening. I'm already putting myself into a corner. It's a mirror reflecting your inner self sounds reflecting a darker truth. The gaze here is not just something watching you afar, but a mirror reflecting a darker truth. Okay, that works. There's so much I can write. Yeah, they technically renamed her now. She went back to being Cheryl in Dead by Daylight, but that's a random fun fact. She's if we even consider Dead by Daylight canonical to anything, but yeah, she's no longer Heather Mason. She's going as Cheryl Mason now. OG Sherry. It's like when I did the lore files for this. God, it feels like seems we won't find your brother here. God, why they needed more interaction with each other. I feel to make. I love to make, but we needed more Leon and Claire interactions. We just didn't have the awkward flirting in the rain while zombies are getting up. I'm like, why are we flirting right now? This is funny, but why are we flirting? But yeah, they needed more interactions to make, but it's all good. They had more interactions. They had more interactions in the original one. Okay. Anyways, it's like what I mentioned with lore files months ago with Resident Evil. Well, not Resident Evil. Silent Hill 3. Alessa becomes more after their fight. Alessa becomes more active within Heather. It's like A and B conjoined now. And it's not like she doesn't remember. It's not like she doesn't remember that hospital. There we go, quote unquote. Just give me a sec. play Silent Hill 3. This was actually a lot harder than I thought it was going to be with this one. Well, I got 15 minutes to solve this. Silent Hill 3 is a psychological horror that turns the player's fear inward. Unlike typical horror games where danger lurks outside, this game forces you to confront the fractured pieces of identity. The gaze here is not just something watching you from afar, but a mirror reflecting a darker truth. For Heather Mason, mirrors don't simply reflect her, they warp her, revealing hidden aspects of her psyche and confront her with the weight of her past. Heather has a Heather has a deep cycle of mirrors, which makes it seem like her reflection is a reflection of someone else. Fuck it, it's raining outside. Oh boy. As some people may know, once you're in the desert, when it rains, oh boy, all hell's about to break loose. It's really coming down right now. Where's this from? This is familiar. Oh, mother. Mom! Mom! Oh, or my favorite part. Oh god, I'm about to shed a tear. Holy shit. It's Ada's gun. The magazine is empty. Ah, it hits so hard every time. Ah, god, I love that scene. You're about to see a grown man cry. It's Ada's gun. There's no there's no ammo in the magazine. But the magazine is empty. It's one of those. But yeah, it's been a bit. Wow. That hits you so hard. Wow. Holy shit. I actually spelled that right now. Oh my god. What time is it? It is about to be 6. Alright. I gotta start wrapping this up. Oh, these old eyes of mine. Okay. It's about to be 40 minutes? Okay. Silent Hill 3 is a psychological horror that turns the player's fear inward. Unlike typical horror games where danger lurks outside, this game forces you to confront fractured pieces of identity. The gaze here is not just something watching you from afar, but a mirror reflecting a darker truth. For Heather Mason, mirrors don't simply reflect her, they warp her, revealing hidden aspects of her psyche and confront her with the weight of her past. From the outset, her identity is fractured. Is she who she claims to be, or is it all a facade? Heather has a deep dislike of mirrors, which makes it seem that her reflection is a reflection of someone else. Throughout the game, mirrors play a haunting role. They just don't show what is. They reveal what shouldn't be. Most infamously in the mirror room in the other world, where her own reflection in the mirror distorts horrifically. So we're gonna add to that, but we can do that later. In Silent Hill 3, the gaze reveals what the player fears the most: that the true monster is the self. The game doesn't just use external threats to terrify. It makes the player come to terms with the fact that the true horror was internal the entire time. The true horror right now is my voice becoming Wolverine's voice. In a sense, the horror comes from the internalization of the gaze. I can finish that better. I can definitely finish that sentence better. Alright, I have an idea. So okay, so it's no longer about evading or fighting the monsters outside. Heather invites section of the player must fight an internal battle of fractured identity and internal conflict. We're alright, we're good. So alright, so tomorrow, as mentioned, we'll finally get started with the mythological parallels. I think one last go over thing should be good enough. We just finished case study 2, so case study 3 is Resident Evil Village. That game. That very interesting game. So, good stuff. Later on tonight, I'll do some sprite animation. Besides that, take care, and I'll see you people tomorrow. We're almost done with this.